Hello friends and welcome to the Gamer Down and MMORPG Spotlight. This is part 3 for Global Agenda, a game I've been checking out recently. And I am at my first dungeon and first mission. And I'm afraid that this episode is going to be a lot about the drawbacks of this game. Because with all the good, there has to be some bad. And I want to start off with the community. Wow. I spent last night just, sitting in the general chat and listening to it. And that is some of the worst chat trolling that you could ever imagine. I mean, they were talking about doing Casey Anthony, that chick who just murdered her baby and all that. And pretty much the absolute worst things you can think of. It's always a fear with free-to-play MMOs because people will join the game and feel like they have nothing to lose. When somebody buys a game, actually puts money down for a game, then they're less likely to be douchebags. But not in this free-to-play game. No holds barred. Some of the things they were saying, it would have curled anybody's toes. So you might want to be warned about that. The community is very, very immature and very, very trollish. Which is very, very unfortunate because a community can indeed make or break a game, at least for me. If the community is just so terrible that it makes me feel bad and I don't like what, everybody's saying and trolling around all the time, just constant trolling like that. I don't dig that. I mean, some of the other places, like out in the zones, people seem pretty nice and were very helpful and things like that. But once you got into like the main dome zone, which there are like 20-something of them, and they only hold like about 55 people. But wow, I got in one terrible one last night, and I couldn't stand the crap that was being said, and I'm pretty thick-skinned, I mean, they were going out of their way to say and do the worst things possible. So you just might want to keep that in mind as well too. If you're really not looking for or can't handle like a bunch of trolls and immature people, then you might want to just stay away from MMOs altogether. But Global Agenda has a lot of them. Anyway, let's get back to this mission here. As with most missions in other games, you fight through many minions and you finally arrive at the end boss. I have to say one thing about Global Agenda. This game is not easy at all. This is a very hard game. You will die and die and die. And at least there doesn't seem to be barely any, if any, death penalty. The only death penalty seems to be time. You have to walk back to where you died at. But you can die repeatedly in these missions, and the bosses will remain at whatever health you died at. They don't even regenerate to full health. So it is possible to just completely death zerg some of these bosses, but these bosses are really hard for just one person. Maybe these missions are built more for two people in groups and things like that, but I got my ass kicked a couple of times in here, and I can't say it was easy. That's one reason I like this game, because it is hard. I enjoy a really tough, hard game every once in a while, but I've also reached a point in this game at a mere level 17 where I'm really stuck. I'm on this one mission, I have no other quests left, and I can't kill the damn end boss on this other mission. Not this one here, but the next one after this. I mean, I am completely stuck on this dude, and I even leveled up a level to see if I could do it then, and death zerging this guy and everything, I can't get this last mission down. So I'm basically kind of stuck unless I grind out some levels or figure out something, try maybe some of the consumables, or I don't know. I can get the guy down to like 3%, and that's after dying and dying and dying and dying and zerging the dude. He has just so much damn health, it's just ridiculous. So I am basically completely stuck at level 17, and I have no quests left whatsoever. All I can do is complete this one mission that I've found impossible. So I need to find a way to do it. I either have to find a teammate, or I have to go and check out the auction house and check out some of the consumables, because there are all kinds of consumables. You can get like a robot to fight beside you, or one that makes you do 50% more damage, or like an armor beacon that increases your armor, and all kinds of things like that. So I'm not totally stuck. I do have some options, but I think the normal player, if they came across a mission like that and they had nothing else left to do except that mission, I think they would end up being completely frustrated. This mission wasn't too bad here. I was able to complete it in a reasonable amount of time, and didn't die too awful bad. I died like 2 or 3 times doing this, you know, and it was all mainly on the last boss, because it's just impossible, really. I think totally impossible to manage to kill that boss without dying. You know, unless you have some sort of consumable with you. And just to touch more on the difficulty of this game, wow, this game is really hard. I mean, they pull no punches. I guess because there's no real death penalty, that they feel like they can be really, really hard on you, you know. But some of the missions were just nearly impossible. I died so many times on a few of the missions because the monsters would respawn right on top of me. I'd just kill the guy, and all of a sudden it would respawn again. So I'm presented with this endless zerg of robots or whatever, and it just it took forever. Some of the missions took forever, so you might want to be warned about that as well. The missions are not easy, and this game would be a lot more fun to play with somebody, to play with a buddy. You know, it would be so much easier, you know, to have 2 people. I don't think that the missions and the quests are built for just solo play, even though they say they are. I really think that it's probably going to be a lot more enjoyable to have somebody with you, play a little co-op. And while the community at large might be very trollish, I think there's actually some nice people in this game, because like I said, in the questing hubs, everybody was very nice and helpful. It was only in the main cities and domes and like the general chat things got really bad. But out in the general chat of the zones, people were cool, people would help each other, and it was nothing like being inside that dome area. Maybe because I'm just still in the newbie area, maybe the 50th level zones, their general chat is a lot worse, because it seemed to be a lot of higher level guys that were instigating most of the trolling and things like that. And you can see that this mission here has like jump puzzles, and you have to conserve your jetpack fuel to make sure that you make the jumps and things like that. You know, it's real. This is the easy part, you know. Once you pass that orangish wall over there, you're in the boss's area, and you're locked in there with the boss, and it's to the death. You are the boss, and you will most likely die unless you just got some mad skills. And I believe, you know, you could survive. You know, it would be a lot of running and ducking for cover. And I hate hiding behind cover. I really do. But I'm sure that that would be a really good strategy. And I'm sure that you could get the boss pathing down to where you could figure out which way he was going to go. And you see that mean looking dude over there, and he immediately just starts blasting me with rockets. And if you get caught in a few of those, you're done for. And I must admit, this was quite a challenge for a first instanced mission. You know, and I did stupid things like falling off, and that happens to me all the time. I'm my own worst enemy in some of these games. Blowing myself up, falling off a ledge. Yeah, that happens to me all the time. And you see these little spiral pads on the ground there. If you step on one of those spiral pads, you will be transported to your checkpoint. And you will get a checkpoint really close to the boss, so it makes zerging him that much easier, because his health will remain the same as when you died. So you don't have to start from the very beginning fighting the boss, you know, and you can just keep dying and dying and dying, and eventually get him down if you don't run out of time. You only have 30 minutes to begin with. Every one of these instance missions are timed, so it allows you to die and die and die and continually zerg the boss. And it still doesn't mean you're going to win, really, because like I said, I'm on this other mission, and I'm stuck. I'm stuck like Chuck. But this game being difficult is one of the reasons I like it. I don't like being stuck on this other mission I'm on, but I do like the challenge. I look forward to trying to devise a strategy to get that boss down, because like I said, I get him down to like 3%, and I'm figuring out strategies to, you know, get that little last 3% down, or to, you know, speed up my death zerg, you know, enough like where I don't run out of time, because I almost had that other boss down, and it was, you know, it's very exciting, and that level of difficulty, and knowing that you have a real challenge on your hands, and knowing that you have extra little things you can do, such as go to the auction house and buy some of the consumables, buy maybe a little robot pet to fight with you. I don't have a whole bunch of money to, you know, do those sorts of things. And I mentioned at higher levels and those higher level dungeons, and when you're presented with the same situation, that you'll have more access to your gadgets and little extra tools that you can use. But just look at this boss I'm fighting right now. Look how much time it's taking, and I enjoy this though. I mean, I like this level of difficulty every once in a while. I mean, constantly being challenged like this would probably wear on you after a while, and you need a little something easy to temper this difficulty. But fighting, you know, like an enemy like this, and knowing that you can eventually get them down if you use your noodle enough, you know, if you use cover correctly. Like, I start to finally use the cover the way I'm supposed to be using it. Get a lot of distance on the guy. That is one of the main things, keeping your distance from these enemies. When you're a class like I am, I'm an assault class, and it seems keeping distance when you're not tanking, of course, is the best strategy. Classes like Recon, which are the rogue and stealth class, of course they have different methods of, you know, going in really quick, doing damage, and then running away while they regenerate health and things like that. And classes like the medic, their DPS build is a poison type build, so they basically poison the enemy and run, and poison them again and run. That's basically their strategy. And the robotics class, you know, they have their own gadgets and tools that they can use, such as turrets, and mainly, you know, if they can protect their turret long enough, they're going to win. But you can see how many close calls I had in just this one fight alone. I mean, you know, just look. I mean, this is pretty damn tough. It was really, really hard to get this boss down. And I did die once, you know, so it wasn't a flawless victory. If you do make it through one of these missions without dying, you will get an achievement, and I believe a little extra bonus or something. You at least get an achievement. I know that much. And you can see, after I finally got the strategy down of keeping my distance and using proper cover, I finally got this guy down, whittling away at his health. And he had a lot of health. That is one thing I wish that they had the actual health instead of just the health bars, because I like to see the numbers there. And you see, I eventually get the sucker down. But that wasn't even the hardest part here. Escorting this girl, this doctor here, that was very challenging. You'll see why. Because she's just going to keep going, and she's not going to wait for you one bit. She's going to just run right into the enemies and stand there until she dies. And you have to protect her. And she doesn't seem to want to be protected all that much. She seems to be quite suicidal. And she will get way ahead of you and just basically die. So it is really, really tough keeping this girl alive. And this was more of a challenge, I thought, than the actual boss fight itself, because, you know, there was no stopping her. Now, even though I've talked about a lot of the flaws of this game, I'm still finding it quite enjoyable. Even though I'm stuck, I'm still enjoying the whole fighting and the whole system that they have. I enjoy the challenge of this game, but if you're not looking for a challenge, then you might want to skip it. At least it is free to play, which I always mention. This game here is free to play, and you can play to max level. And there's only one drawback, though. You're going to get there a lot slower if you don't lay some cash down. If you don't at least get the $20 elite package, you're going to level twice as slow. And on top of that $20 elite package, you also can buy like a booster pack, which is a timed period where you get double EXP, you get double tokens and things like that, so you can level even quicker that way. But you're just starting to lay down more and more money, and it kind of totally defeats the purpose of it being free to play. And the Global Agenda is making 5 times the money they made when they were just a subscription game. So they're milking a lot of cash out of people. Yeah, somebody's making some serious cash these days, but there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that's wrong with it is, you know, eventually plopping down way more money than you would for a subscription game. I mean, I find that wrong, actually. You know, I think that people can get a little too overzealous with the free-to-play stuff and really do themselves injustice and spend way too much cash. Anyway, this has been Dark Hoses for the Gamer Down MMORPG Spotlight Part 3. There will be a Part 4. It's going to be much later on when I'm much higher level. I plan on sticking with this game a little bit longer because I like it, you know, but I am stuck. And if I can't get past this stuck part, then I don't know, I might just toss it to the side. Be sure and subscribe and thumbs up videos. It really helps me out. Thanks again.